Let's try this again. There we go. All right, guys. Welcome to the Give It Podcast, the podcast for blurs, for nerds. For you, those with fandom, you are definitely welcome here. I'm your host, Will Buchanan, of course, the man to my right, who always will introduce himself. I kind of got money on what he's going to come up with, but I'm going to let him go for it.
It's been a hell of a week, Joe Tonello.
Damn. I was going to say the man that created Lechunk, but damn. My money was on the Pokemon reference. It was there.
It was either that or splash you with paint while alpha countering you, Joe Tonello.
Man, it was there. I was like, he's going to go with Lechunk. I know he's going to go with Lechunk. You know what? Never mind. That being said, guys, we are a family-friendly podcast.
This is how I get him every so often.
The times I think I got you figured out. But that being said, we are a family-friendly podcast, which means that sometimes we do try to watch our language, but hey, words do fly at the same time, guys. We may show some things, especially tonight, that might be a little bit too intense for younger viewers, so viewer discretion is advised. Aside from that, welcome. So with that being said, a lot's actually happened. A lot of television has came out, and all at once, actually. So really quickly, before we go into the state of play that Sony has given us, and it's given us a lot, but also has given us not what we wanted, but we'll get into that. But very quickly, some news I just wanted to go ahead and get out the way because, again, you never know. Like, for instance, Samoa Joe is actually going to be playing Sweet Tooth in the Peacock series on Twisted Metal.
So he is actually sharing a role.
Okay.
So Sweet Tooth or Samoa Joe will be the body for Sweet Tooth,
Okay.
but Will Arnett will be the voice.
Interesting. Kind of what James Earl Jones and Hayden Christopher are doing right now. Makes sense.
Yes.
Okay. I'm surprised they're still going forward. I mean, Sam, what's his name? The guy who played Sam Wilson.
Anthony Mackie?
Thank you. Well, it's basically headlining this. Along with
Stephanie Beatriz from Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Encanto.
Yeah. So they're all going to be a part of this. I'm not going to lie. I'm kind of curious to see what they do with Twisted Metal, considering the fact it's one of the darker games, more popular games of PlayStation. And the simple fact of the matter is they're really being very quietly tight-lipped on exactly how the storyline is going to go. Is it going to follow the actual tournament? Are we going to see Calypso? Things of that nature. But I just thought that was interesting that Samoa Joe, who by far one of the most underrated wrestlers in wrestling today, is actually going to be playing the body of Sweet Tooth. So I'm, like I said, looking forward to that once Peacock does announce when it'll be available for streaming. Aside from that, really quickly, I just want to go over this because me and Joe, we are not surprised by this. Whenever it comes to Star Wars, and I'm not talking just about Kenobi, which Kenobi may have already been greenlit for a second season based off streaming numbers. They've actually had the highest streaming numbers ever for a show on Disney Plus since the streaming service started. But now, because of this, there is now, again, whenever it comes to Star Wars, you have this toxic fandom. It's even worse. It's worse than Kylo Ren on a rage bender watching Undercover Boss. Oh no, go ahead.
I would say the best analogy that we can use today is all the guys upset that Cammy wears pants in Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, I'll go with that.
Yep.
I'll go with that.
That is the most apt analogy for today.
Yeah, I'll go with that. Even so much, the person we're talking about is Moses Ingram. If you haven't watched Kenobi, she plays the role of third sister. Plays it actually very well, I might add. But of course, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So my one thought on her, she is fantastic. She plays a very single-minded fanatic insanely well. I want to know why she decided to parkour half a city, half a planet when a laser burst was 3 blocks away. Like, seriously, that second episode, I'm like, that was 3 blocks away. Why is she halfway across this planet?
Fast travel?
This is the opposite of fast travel.
Like when the fast travel option is not really the fast travel we think it is. I don't know. I just thought that was weird, but we'll get into that Kenobi episode a little bit later. But again, we wanted to tell very quickly about Moses Ingram and the fact that just like Daisy Ridley, just like John Boyega, just like I cannot think of her name to save my life right now. The woman who played on the Rise of Skywalker, they got heckled for her character.
You may want to be a wee bit more specific there.
She literally got heckled off Instagram. I can't think of her name to save my life right now. I had on the tip.
The one who was doing Rose?
Yes. Her. I cannot think of her name to save my life right now, but her. Because she got heckled off it. She got hounded off Instagram, actually. And I cannot think of her name to save my life right now.
Rose Tico, her actress was, and of course it's not going to tell me because this is such a stupid platform.
I would say IMDb, but I know you're looking up right now. But while Joe's looking that up, Obi-Wan himself, Ewan McGregor, had some thoughts on the scenario.
This weekend, Star Wars fans made Obi-Wan Kenobi the most watched Disney Plus original series premiere of all time. And for that, I would say a big thank you. And it just goes to show what this family can do when we all pull together. However, it seems that some of the fan base from this influential fan base have decided to attack Moses Ingram online and send her the most horrendous racist DMs. And I heard some of them this morning and it just broke my heart. Moses is a brilliant actor. She's a brilliant woman. And she's absolutely amazing in this series. She brings so much to the series. She brings so much to the franchise. And it just sickened me to my stomach to hear that this had been happening. I just want to say, as the leading actor in the series, as the executive producer on the series, that we stand with Moses. We love Moses. And if you're sending her bullying messages, you're no Star Wars fan in my mind. There's no place for racism in this world. And I totally stand with Moses. This weekend.
So, actually, in his case, I completely agree with him. For the simple fact of the matter, he's exactly right. There is no place for it. Although, I don't know who is the writer for Disney as far as Twitter goes, but they had a worse burn than he did. I think they went like over 20 million sentient races out there in the galaxy, and you don't choose to be a racist. I was like, I dig that. Kind of a burn a little bit, but I dig that.
Yeah, I mean, Star Wars fans, and this is coming from someone who's a Star Wars fan, although at this point I consider myself a Trekkie and a Spaceballs fan more than a Star Wars fan nowadays, with how vitriol we're getting. We hate on zippers.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that there's women in Star Wars. I mean, for God's sakes, people, it's a whole galaxy. We know we only showed Leia for like 2 movies, but there are more than just one chick in the galaxy.
Mm-hmm.
To quote Peter Griffin, oh my God, it's the other chick. The only other chick in the galaxy when Mon Mothma appeared. And now you're upset that there are other races in the galaxy. I mean, is it because she's a woman? Because I don't remember any of this BS for Billy D. Williams.
None.
Or is it because it's Billy D. Williams and he gets a free pass?
I don't think nobody was crazy enough to talk about him, honestly. I don't think nobody was bold enough to talk about Lando. Not in that sense.
Like, I don't think no one cared when Childish Gambino came in and as young Billy D. Williams.
Yeah.
I mean, the Han Solo movie itself had its own problems, which in the grand scheme of things was not a bad film.
No, not at all.
But like, I just don't understand why it's women of color in general, like specifically women of color.
Yeah.
I do not understand this. It is literally a race and galaxy of snoots, snouts, tusks, boars, teeth. We literally have green pigmen.
Yeah. But it's amazing to me where it's like, you know, I've said it best. I think this is the problem with toxic fandoms. And I love the fact that I forgot who said it. My mind is a blank right now. That the most toxic fandom out there is Star Wars. And you would think for all its inclusivity of different races, things of that nature, you think that fandom alone would be the most tolerant outside of Star Trek, considering how many races are a part of it. But I just thought that was like, this is the reason why I think at this point where I tell somebody, I was like, look, because they had issues with Mos Ingram. It was, oh, she's a typical power hungry Sith who's only out to raise above her station. I'm like,
we literally saw why she's like this in the opening of the thing. The woman has childhood trauma, probably PTSD, and sees that Obi-Wan sent the message out telling all these kids, you're on your own, then you're tortured to death till you're an adult.
Right. But her backstory is there, and I kind of hope they go a little bit more into that.
Her backstory is basically going to be the same as the Black Inquisitor, Chick Inquisitor from Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah.
They're all the same temple younglings.
I can see that. Don't get me wrong, I see that, but I guess because I'm kind of leaning toward more dark side, I'm like, I always want to see that progression. For me, it's always seen that progression, how they got there, because the fact that she was bold enough to take out the Grand Inquisitor, and then
let's caveat that with a Grand Inquisitor.
Okay.
I'm still in the mindset that there are multiple Grand Inquisitors, and they're like a Grand Inquisitor per sector or space area.
That's fair.
And each of them are assigned like three acolytes.
Yeah, that's fair. I'll say that. But
we had Sarah Michelle Gellar, the big one done by the guy that does Lex Luthor.
Billy Zane? Not Billy Zane. Yeah, well, he did do one video. He did do one video.
Superman Animated Adventures. Tom.
This is sad. This is sad. We're both mind blank. We usually have this trivia. We have this knowledge overhead. But while you look it up, though, I just never understood the actual hatred. I never understood, why some guys outside of just certain tendencies, which unfortunately are
Clancy Brown. There we go.
Thank you. They're just a part of this world where it's like you have nothing to do but complain about Star Wars, and I keep on saying all the time, and I'll say it again for all those that didn't hear it when I said it previously on the same podcast many years ago. If you don't like the way something is being done, you do realize in this day and age you can write a script, you can direct a fan-made film. They let you get away with it to a certain point now, unless you're Power Rangers, because Ham Saban ain't playing. But because you saw how quickly that one fan-made Power Rangers Dark Universe movie got taken off YouTube.
Well, they did have the Black Ranger doing crack off of somebody, then shooting somebody in the head.
Yes.
So Walter Jones maybe is like, yeah, you're liable. Don't get that down.
Yeah, I mean, they took it down, but it had so much. It actually had a lot of positive reviews. Like, we always wanted to see a darker. It did. For what it was, it did actually have a lot of people like, we're kind of interested in this.
I'm not here to see Snyder Rangers.
Well, thankfully, no Snyder Rangers. Well, technically, there would have to be nope. I was going to say there has to be so-called Zordon. Why did you know that name? I had to stop myself because I was like, I had that one ready to go. But no, it's just I never understood. Like, if you want to direct it, you want to write it, I mean, go ahead and do so. You don't know where it could lead to. But I always get tired of folks where they, you see original ideas come in and they immediately crap on them or crap on the actor. It's like, if you're an actor and you get the role of a lifetime, like you get to be in Star Wars, whether you're a Jedi, whether you're a Sith, whether you're a part of the Resistance, or you're a part of the you're a part of the Imperial Empire. The fact that you get to do something that a lot of people don't get to do is a dream. That's almost up there with being in a Marvel movie or a DC movie or playing as a dream role. But it never ceases to amaze me where folks that just want to complain just to complain will always go so far to drop something off social media. And I'm just like, that's the reason why I say this now, as I usually say at the end of the podcast. Don't be a dick. Be nice. If you don't like something, don't watch it. I mean, I don't like Friends. I don't trash Friends. My fiance loves Friends. I don't. Do
Ross
I trash
is a horrible human being.
Huh?
Ross is a horrible human being.
From about the 4 or 5 episodes I watched, you're not wrong. But I mean, from the 4 or 5 episodes I watched with her, you're not wrong.
David Schwimmer, probably the sweetest guy in the world. Ross, terrible human being.
Yeah, Max LeBlanc, when I got to meet him at a con was pretty nice. But
did you make him apologize for Top Gear?
I wasn't I was going to try to stay on his good side. I was not going to try to sit there and light that candle. But although, yeah, he does need to kind of apologize type here. But anyway, that being said, guys, like I said, toxic fandom it doesn't make any sense considering how good Kenobi is and the fact that they get green light for a second season while they're still within their 6-episode run. It just again, don't be a dick. You don't like something, do it better. If you think you can do it better, write it, direct it. It's not like you don't have the ability to do so. That's all I'm saying. But before we do get on to the state of play, I did want to ask Joe, did he want to? Because I did put in Lechunk. Did you want me to play the trailer for Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon?
Oh yeah, there's a lot of stuff we can talk about for this. I mean, while we've been doing this, I've been going through and actually confirming a lot of the Street Fighter 6 stuff we're going to talk about too.
See that?
No, stuff that has been confirmed within the trailers itself.
Oh,
there's a large amount of characters that have been confirmed, hidden throughout the trailer.
I'm surprised people have really sat there and snipe shotted that.
Oh, I'm not. Not with Street Fighter 6.
They snipe shot. I was like, oh, okay, cool. They come back. It's like 12 fighters have already been confirmed. How? It's like
no, actually, I think close to 16 are now confirmed.
Jesus. Okay. Well, let me actually play the trailer because I want you to explain. Because I'm sorry, I need you to explain the pig. I need you after I play this trailer. I need you to explain the pig. It's just let me just play the trailer.
Oh no, they're hot. All I can say is explain the pig. That is all I can say at this moment. So, let's go back. First off, we are Scarlet and Violet. You get to change school uniforms. So you are in what we are now juggling called you're either a bloody orange or a grape full of wrath.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah, no. The professors, oh no, they're hot.
I was like, I heard you, and I was like, I wasn't looking at first. You know how you're looking at something and you didn't pay attention, and you go back and be like, so we just decided to just, upgrade
So
the
this
professor.
does actually continue the trend of hot professors that started with Kukui and went on with the granddaughter who actually does become a professor by the end of the series in Sword and Shield. And now we got Sada and Toro. Everybody just notices that Toro, the future looking dude, the Tron professor, is, yeah, we'll get to him in a moment.
I just have that up here for reference, but go ahead.
Toru is that picture of the Omega Chad, basically.
Okay.
And everyone is really, some people are fixated on him, but everyone's after the Scarlet Professor Sarda because she's a jungle woman that has fangs. And is a redhead, and everyone's going off on that. Fan art's already out there. Please search her with safe search on, people.
I'm afraid that.
Oh yeah, no.
The internet is a
day. Then you got the Pokemon. We have references to the original Red and Blue with the gentleman going, "Isn't science fantastic?" or "Technology great?" It the Powhatan. It was a guy who said, "Isn't science fantastic?" The biggest change in this Pokemon thing is that this is going to have an open world, non-linear exploration.
Okay.
Meaning you can go tackle whichever gym you want to at any given time. I'm guessing that means the gyms will scale depending on how you take them on. You have 4-player co-op supposedly throughout the whole game.
I wonder how that would work.
Well, this is why they said, hey, those 4 trainers were there. One had the Pikachu and the other 3 had the normal starters.
Right.
So they're all exploring the world of Pokemon at some time. So you could probably go do stuff and meet up with them and go hunt rare Pokemon or have Pokemon battles. Because if you've noticed, the Pokemon centers are gone and now they just have Poke Stations. Where it had healing, buying, and trading in those new Taco Bell style restaurants where it's just like basically a kiosk and a whole small line building.
I just picture Lechunk and Taco Bell.
That's not my fault. What are some of the other things? They go like Sprigagito. If you read his thing, his special move is basically a cat making biscuits, just like from the way they describe it. The duck is just even more Josuke from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 4.
The whole sneaking up on the Pokemon thing is what got me. I'm like, well, then I thought about the previous game. Wasn't the previous game was you could just run up and hit a Pokemon and then run for your life?
They aren't actually counting that as a mainline generation, but we are seeing shades of the Arceus game in here because we do see them sneaking up, but we are doing traditional catching. So I'm guessing if you sneak up on a Pokemon, you can get like maybe a free hit with your Pokemon.
Okay.
And then it can go into battle. That's purely speculation on my part. Or you'll have a higher chance of just outright catching it once in battle. But we do have the sneak mechanic back from the other one. We do have the regional Chew cousin here with the new Fluffy Mouse. I don't know its name. It's not the popular one. We do have Small Live, which some people really like. It's the regional small plant bud.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that will turn into a bottle of wine by the end of its evolution. We're in Spain and Portugal. What do you want?
Legal. Anyway.
And then the Lechunk, which is by far the most popular one. And this is easily explained. This is the Wooloo phenomenon, where this is adorable Pokemon in your starting area. And it's it's from its text. It says it's small and timid, but its body is pure muscle, not fat, from all the walking it does. So this is Knuckles the Echidna equivalent of I am 1,000,000% muscle.
I saw you go. I literally, you beat me by half a second.
I know it.
You beat me by half a second.
But I mean, we're also looking at Lechunk in a lot of different ways because this is could be like our normal types, like the slacking line.
Okay.
Where we're going to have just him getting a 3-step evolution, kind of like the dog evolutions we usually get. This or slacking, as I said before, where he's going to be a 2-step evolution, have a third form, and just have massive physical and health stats. Considering his coloring, he could also grow up to be a normal dark type. I wholeheartedly believe that.
I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of curious. I mean, for me, kind of being a little rusty in Pokemon, I can only imagine what his evolved states are gonna be. Because I can only think
they do state right off the bat he's not the pig Pokemon, he is the hog Pokemon.
So it's gonna be like a boar type.
Probably a boar similar to that of Emboar, so he could be normal ground, normal dark, normal rock, something.
I just see him going from cute and cuddly to like aggravated and destructive.
I mean, I'm there for it. I mean, half of the reason why he's so popular is just his name is Lechunk.
Yeah,
Lechunk.
And the fact that they've already got just like the internet that works completely fast, there's already artwork out there of Lechunk.
Oh yeah, I mean Lechon is Spanish for baby pig, so you just add the K in there, and you got Lechunk. I mean, it's just meme culture seeping into Pokemon, is what it is.
I thought that was funny because I was like, the first time I saw it, I was like, is Pikachu getting a run for his money?
No, Pikachu will never get a run for his money. His regional Chew variant is like fine, but like the only thing that ever has given him a run for his money is maybe Dedenne and a lowland pancake loving Raichu. Nice. His only actual rival at this point is Eevee, because Eevee is like its own, slowly becoming a secondary mascot for the franchise.
Gotcha. Makes sense though. I was curious. I was like, it's like whoever comes up with these, someone sat there and said, let's make this pig adorable and make him a Pokemon, and it will sell. And they were not wrong. Because I remember my cousin, my little niece, not my cousins, my nephews have seen it, and they're like, we want to learn how to play Pokemon. And I just feel like that. I feel like I should be getting that Sith Apprentice hoodie and just present it to them. You will learn the ways, but not from a Pokemaster.
And when they come at you with poison, dark, and fairy types,
I'll be proud. I will have taught them well. But then I'll have to go the ways of Dark Plagueis the Wise. But aside from that, I know Joe had mentioned Street Fighter 6. I really want to give it its due.
We'll save that for later because we got the trailer, we got all the stuff I'm pulling down.
Yeah, I was gonna make that before we get on the comics.
Are we doing? Were there any TV shows?
Yeah. Actually, besides, really Superman and Lois, they did actually did follow up with the newest episode of The Lies That Bind, picked right up where the even though it's kind of been a month. Wow, it has been a month since Superman and Lois actually had a new episode. But they did actually have one this week. It was actually pretty good. They did pick up as far as Lana now knowing Clark's secret. Of course, how did I not see this? And I know a lot of people are going, really? Superman only got the spears? The only thing that saves him is sunglasses? I understand. Just roll with it. But even though they kind of every sub-story that was going on during this episode actually mattered, they did destroy the pendant with the help of Talro. Jonathan and Jordan and Natalie all had a one-day hooking, which was actually a very good storyline for once in CW. It wasn't actually a teen drama; it actually tied into the main story. I love that I called it. Allie finally showed the fact that she was having parasite tendencies because she basically siphoned Bizarro World's Talro to the point where he died. So I was like, finally. You have finally become exactly what we thought you would be. You're going to become Parasite, which all in all was a good episode. I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it already, because CW is, I hate to say this, and I say this with all love and respect, the Arrowverse is if it hasn't already, is going to run its course. Yeah, I mean,
this thing's on an iron lung as it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's really ran its course. I mean, don't get me wrong. between the only good shows that they kind of have out there right now is Stargirl, Superman, and Lois. That's it. I mean, the Flash just needs to make an exit and exit stage right, because that storyline has gotten completely and utterly horrible. But
and Flash, I don't know if it's Grant Gustin himself or somebody on the Flash wants the Flash to save the Legends of Tomorrow crew from their cliffhanger ending.
The showrunner for the Flash was actually petitioned online by the fans of the Legend. Fans of Legend of Tomorrow were clamoring for the showrunner for the Flash to save Legends of Tomorrow. And he sat there and said, I don't have the ability because I'm not sure where my show's going to be. Just because of the Warner Brothers Discovery merger, and the fact that the CEO of the new company has sat there and said he wants DC to be more like Marvel, which again is a great strategy in the long run. So right now, the Flash doesn't know, aside from them getting abbreviated season 9, they don't even know if they're going to be able to finish this current season out right now. So he's like, I would love to do a Legends crossover, but where the Legends was last time, they literally got hauled in by the Time Police along with Booster Gold. So poor Donald Faison only really got one episode at the whole thing, unless things are bound to change. I highly doubt it, since the Flash doesn't really have that much viewership to justify bringing on characters from a, in my opinion, a really short-lived. It should have been a short-lived DC run, but let's be honest, CW just put Teenage Drama behind it and extended it, but I don't see it happening. But then again, I could be wrong. CW may turn around and give the Flash a full season 9 as the final season and say, "Hey, go nuts." I could be wrong about this, but if I was a DC executive, I'm like, you have to give the old Yeller treatment. You have to take it around back and put out its misery. But no, that's what that was about. Also, speaking of Kenobi, if you have not seen part 3, you really should. I'm trying to give as little context because, again, part 3 deserves to be watched. It really, really, really deserves to be watched. I am not going to say a lot about it, except that it was exactly what I thought it would be if that actually happened. But I love the fact of how it ended, because the ending was exactly what it needed to be for the series to continue. But the whole build up to it, as far as what happened with Kenobi, and the fact that, the whole thing with Leia and the whole thing with the third sister. And oh, by the way, Sung Kang from the Fast and Furious, I did not know he was a fifth brother. I had to look that up. The guy who played Han in the Fast and Furious movies is actually the fifth brother in Kenobi. And I mean,
you know what he did in between dying and coming back magically?
He was part of the Force. I knew he was going to do that. He was part of the Force. That's why. But no, again, that was definitely a great series. And how part 3 ended, it was a very, very good episode that I do not want to give any details on, just because it really deserves to get watched too. I forgot who directed that episode, but it was definitely well done. But what did you think, Joe?
Well, I think they had the best Hans Mole Man since The Simpsons.
I couldn't stand that dude. I was like, really? Yes. Like, oh, touche.
I mean, he just sees the best in the Empire, which some people actually do. Like, he does see, like, well, they're keeping out the bandits and they're keeping order, so they can't be all that bad.
But still, it's just like, I kind of had a little bit of hope, but when that happened, I was like, damn. But no, it was still, like I said.
I really enjoyed it. It's good to hear old voices come back again.
Man.
Kind of makes you wonder if this is the point in Obi-Wan's life where it's like, maybe I should take up a different form of fighting style. Because it's even shown that he does change fighting styles at some point.
Yeah, I mean, you're not wrong. I just thought about that scene. I'm like, you ain't wrong, because it was you was kind of rusty there, sir. A little bit.
Well, I mean, that's also his fighting style is just huge, overpowering, heavy slashes. Because I mean, he has like 2 droid appendages, so he's gonna put that extra strength in for work.
Yeah, but what happened in that location though, as he's trying to, get certain people to come out?
So there's a reason why people were starting to use dragged as a term. He got dragged.
Literally and figuratively.
He got dragged worse than canon. We'll talk about that here in a moment.
Dang. You
It looked like he invested in crypto and Eliza took Mel and left. That's how bad Kenobi got dragged this episode.
Damn. Just damn. I was gonna go to State of Play, but now I want to go into this now. I was like, Jesus, he got that.
Have you not seen what Ken looks like?
I do. That's all. Okay. That's all. I was like, damn. That's all. I was like,
it looked like he just like went to Ryu. She took the kids. Ryu.
Just damn. But speaking of, let me go on the State of Play because that's gonna be in my head now. So, God.
Actually, I do have a fair amount of thoughts on State of Play because this was a surprisingly good State of Play on most of the games.
No, you go first.
I mean, we have Resident Evil 4, which is Resident Evil 4 remake. So we are now shortening it down to Reefer. REFR. It's Reefer.
I know. It's just the fact I just.
Did you not put that one together?
I was trying to think about it. Now it's there. Thanks, Joe.
I do what I can.
Just that's in my head.
Honestly, I'm really not too thrilled with Resident Evil 4 because the remakes have been very serious about their content as of late. And classic Resident Evil 4 was like a giant action flick where even like the characters themselves were in on the joke at times.
Mm-hmm.
Like just Sadler, just the Leon with the kid monster thing.
Yeah.
Where like they both make jokes back and forth at each other's expense. And all the wisecracking Sadler, Leon does with Sadler, like they're aware they're in like a B-level action movie. And this one, not so much. Not to mention, let's get something out of the way here on this.
Okay.
With this opening shot where we have government surveillance saying the president's daughter's been kidnapped, you're telling me that we are not immediately sending in a battalion of Marines, Army Rangers, Special Ops, Delta Force to just get her back and flatten everything in a 30-mile radius?
You like to think so. You like don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. When this first came out, it's like, you know what? You like to think so that they would have went ahead and okay, the president's daughter's been kidnapped and taken to this remote village. I'm sending one individual. Do we not have a budget for this? It's like, and don't get me wrong. I mean, as a Resident Evil fan, okay, that part of the story just didn't make any sense. That you're only sending one person to go rescue the president's daughter. I'm like, but at least the gameplay was good. I mean, it saved the GameCube. I mean, it was one of it was one of GameCube's more popular titles being sold. So
to me, Resident Evil 4 is one of the best and one of the worst Resident Evils at the same time.
Okay,
like it is a fantastic game, but it also permanently made the franchise going forward shift away from survival horror to horrible action.
Yeah, that's hence 6.
I mean, 5 was tolerable, but 6 is like the worst thing ever.
I liked 5 just because 5 was co-op, but at the same time, 5 was a game to where you had to depend on somebody in some areas.
I felt uncomfortable the whole game.
You solo the game?
No, I felt uncomfortable playing the whole game.
Oh, just because of the co-op dependency, or just the camera angle?
A little bit of A, a little bit of B, a little bit of placement and people and whole bunches of stuff.
Gotcha.
It just wasn't a Resident Evil for me. That's all it was.
Gotcha. I know. That's how I felt about 6. 6 was supposed to be this overlay of all these characters, and it was nothing more than quick time.
The campaign was fantastic.
Which campaign?
Leon's campaign was great. Wesker Jr., not too bad because that kind of had shades of Nemesis.
Yeah.
But Chris, God no, that was just like Gears of War with a worse sticky mechanic.
Damn. You ain't wrong though. But I'll be honest about 4. I like the fact that it's being remade. I'm a little bit peeved, and I'll say this. When I first saw the cinematography, I was like, oh, are we finally going to announce DLC content for 8? No. Resident Evil 8 Village has been almost out for nearly a year. I would like to see some DLC content for it. I mean, don't get me wrong. Resident Evil 8, it really did have a continue/end feel to it, but I still wanted to actually see some DLCs. I mean, beforehand, Resident Evil 7 Biohazard got 3 DLCs, if I'm right. End of Zoe, Not a Hero, and the Lost Tapes. So yeah, it had 3 DLCs you can play. But at the same time, it's like, guys, where's the DLC for Village? And I always look it up, especially on Capcom sites. Like, I need some answers on Village DLC. But do not get me wrong, Resident Evil 4, I think remake, I still want to play it. It does look beautiful, but let's be honest, remaster games are supposed to look beautiful since they have updated graphics, mechanics, and hopefully have removed all the bugs out of it. But I know a lot of people are like, well, they should have done Resident Evil 0, or they should have done Revelations, or
what really needed to be remade was Code Veronica.
Yep, I'll even say Code Veronica's another one. Although I think that's going into the rumor of a mini Dreamcast coming out.
So
and I say rumor because Sega themselves have not confirmed it.
So we do see that this is getting VR support. We do see 8's getting VR support.
Man.
Oh my God! So
this was a. I don't know if I can call this a great state of play, because if you really think about it, the first 10 minutes, nothing but VR. No Man's Sky, Horizon Call of the Mountain,
Horizon Call of the Mountain looks amazing.
If you like VR, which I'm not knocking. I mean, I'm not a VR person. I mean, I've seen the benefits of people using Oculus and all those other VR types, to be really immersive and really get your senses into it. I'm not knocking that. If that's what you want to do, cool. It's not for me. I like to be able to view it without having all my senses pounded at me at one time. But Call of the Mountain does look great. Don't get me wrong. It's an original. It looks like it's going to be an original story from Aloy, because it's supposed to be in between. This is supposed to be between Horizon Zero Dawn and Forbidden West. So Call of the Mountain is supposed to take in place in the middle of those, in the middle of 2 stories. But don't get me wrong, it looks great. I just don't know if it's enough for me to actually get on VR and actually play it.
So let's just call the spade the spade.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are going to be degenerates and never leave Castle Dimitrescu once you play VR.
You're not wrong. Oh,
I blame Steven Universe for the song "I Want to See You Turn Into a Giant Woman."
You're not wrong. I did not thought about that. With you
and my sister put up a good point. It's like, what's the point of being in this thing? You're never going to see Lady Dimitrescu's face. All you're going to see is his boob.
And hence the other media that's already out there. But you're not wrong.
Oh, that's been there for a while from the first time around.
I know. It's just there. It's just there. That's about the best we could put that. The other media that's out there. But you're right. There are some guys, there are some of those.
There are going to be a lot of dudes our age giggling as they tiptoe around. Sound like the dude from Family Guy, "If You're Never Going to Catch Me."
Not. I'm not doing that. Not doing that voice, but I see your point. But also Spider-Man being remastered. The indie game straight. I'm sorry, what?
So that actually did get expanded upon on the website. It is both Spider-Man, all the DLC, and Miles Morales will be on PC.
Oh, okay. So yeah, well, the PC master race will be joyful for that one, for that PC port. Horizon
is getting New Game Plus.
Yeah, Horizon
for clothing.
Yeah.
Respecking, which I asked my sister, it's like, how do I respec when I filled out the tree completely?
Yeah. You don't. You're just sitting there looking at them like, try again. You're kind of looking down on them like try harder. It's kind of a try harder moment. But no. What else? Oh, Stray, which again is about if you wanted to basically be a cat in a game. A cat
That's
simulator.
Gonna sell so many copies.
Good. I'm sure there's a niche for them. I was like, so
I'm gonna buy it. Why would I not want to get up at 3 a.m. and run around indiscriminately bother robots?
Your cat's gonna be looking at you and be looking at the screen and just has. I have several questions. What are you trying to? I can see your cat going in. It's like, am I a joke to you? just
well, I mean, we did just call her John Mooch Picard, so yes, she is a joke.
She's, you know what? If you get video of you playing Stray and get video of your cat, we need that for the podcast. That's gonna be material we need. But also there are some other games that do have trailers before we get to the main digress. Although before I actually bring up the Callisto Protocol, I was kind of disappointed, but then I thought about it that we did not get God of War Ragnarok. We got no updates on that. But if I'm right, around the same time, the Video Game Awards come back around, Geoff Knightley's event. So it could be that they are saving that for.
That is sometime next week, isn't it?
Yeah, sometime I believe the Video Games Awards.
Not the Game Awards, the Summer
Games thing.
Yeah,
the Summer of Games, I think. But I think they're saving it for that because right now Santa Monica Studios is still saying that we are going to get a 2022 release. I'm a little leery about that, but okay. The other game, which again, I was hoping for some Dead Space news. I guess hoping. Well, then again, BioWare is being tight-lipped about Dead Space, but they want to tell us that they have a new name for the new Dragon Age game, Dreadwolf, and didn't say nothing else about it. Just that, hey, this is the new title for the new Dragon Age game, and we'll get back to you. Thanks, EA.
Same song, same dance.
Yeah, thanks, EA. You told us everything and also told us nothing. Really appreciate it. But they did actually give a trailer for the Callisto Protocol. I'm looking forward to it because honestly, if you follow Dead Space, you follow Dead Souls, this is actually the love letter to Dead Space, if you will. But before I do, so what?
Before we can show the trailer, are we actually going to show the trailer? Because that one is actually super violent.
I'm debating because it's not.
It's supposed to be attached to the PUBG universe, right?
Yeah.
And as right before this, they updated to say it is no longer a part of the PUBG universe. It's its own standalone project.
Nice. Actually, I think this will be okay.
Are you sure?
Never sure, but I think we'll be okay.
I think some parts in the prison will be very intense.
I think I'm kind of skipping through it just to see. I think we'll be okay in showing it.
Okay.
I think I will roll the dice on this. I'll roll the dice on this. If not, I'll just go back. I'll go back on the upload of YouTube and cut it out. But yeah, let's roll the dice. Callisto Protocol, because yeah, and yes, it is definitely Dead Space. So viewer discretion advised.
Take a look outside. Did you know that they call Callisto the Dead Moon? Dead. Just like you would have been if I hadn't fished you out of that wreck. So whatever you're holding on to right there, that's your old life. You gotta let that go. Because your new life is entirely in my hands. I'm just trying to give you a chance at rebirth. that last part. Gives me chills every time.
Okay, so yeah. So that is actually the Callisto Protocol. Like I said before, if you got Dead Space vibes from that, it's basically made from the producers from Dead Space that are now part of Striking Distance Studios are the ones that actually came up with this. And I think it goes without saying that you probably should not be letting your kids play this. And if your kids do know about this, might want to start checking what they play. That's all I'm saying. But Joe, you look concerned, man. What's wrong? You look concerned.
This just isn't for me. Like, if I'm playing this, there better be a xenomorph involved.
They dang near look like xenomorphs, but I think they don't want to get sued. But that actually comes out December 2nd.
No. Xenomorphs, like from Aliens.
Ew. No, they don't want to get sued. If anything, what's that company? MGM, they're pretty consistent about when their media is being seen. So no.
The Aliens are now Disney property along with Predator.
Oh, that's right. The mouse will not tolerate failure. Sorry about that. You're actually right. But no, I'm looking forward to Callisto Protocol when that comes out December 2nd. Also, two other games. Yeah, I was gonna ask you about that. So did you?
So it's Tony Hawk. It's basically that old Chris Pine movie Rollerball, which actually is a remake, and the original version is much better than the Chris Pine version.
Wow,
but I still don't know if this is PvE or PvP, because you see no other player character. You just see your character doing Tony Hawk stuff while shooting things.
Although it was pretty cool, but I think it will.
Oh yeah.
I think it will be PvP just because the expansion area for it. I can't see it as just PvE because after a while it gets boring. But imagine you playing against somebody that kind of has the same abilities you do. That kind of makes it more interesting. At the same time, I was like, when I first saw this, I was like, yeah, this is Tony Hawk meets Extreme Sports. It actually meets that one failed game on PlayStation that I don't think a lot of people play, Hyperspace. There we go. Because I was thinking about that. I'm like, this is like Tony Hawk meets Hyperspace.
I want to know who the artist is, because this is a very distinctive art style. And I feel like I've seen this before in a comic, but I don't know who the artist is.
I just like the fact that everything is literally bright, sharp, and it just.
You know what this reminds me of?
What does?
Running Man.
Yeah, I can see that too. But I just thought that was cool, even though it is going to be on PS4, surprisingly, because Sony did announce not too long ago that PS4 is entering its end of life cycle, which means it'll stop producing games for 4 and just focus on 5. But again, I just thought that was pretty cool about Roller Dome to see when that comes out, because I will be curious. I'll get out to play it. Final Fantasy 16 did have a trailer about it. Not a lot was actually shown in it.
No, we know what this is now. This is Kaiju Fights, the Final Fantasy game.
I knew he was going to say.
I mean, tell me I'm wrong.
You're not wrong. I mean, literally and figuratively. Hang on. I'll do you one better. Give me 2 seconds.
Yes.
Give me 2 seconds. I'll do better than that. Just hang on, because you're not wrong. For all those that think that Joe's making this up and you did not see the state of play, this is what it is. Literally and figuratively, Ifrit versus an unknown monster.
It's Titan.
Well, it was Titan. Sorry. Garuda,
Ifrit, Ramu, Bahamut,
Odin. Bahamut. I was like, is this what we come to now?
Shiva.
Yeah.
Phoenix versus Ifrit, and apparently there's a second Purple Flame Ifrit.
Yeah. I just thought that was crazy. It's just that and don't get me wrong, as a Final Fantasy fan, I'm still going to play 16, but at the same time, I'm just like, have we, like Joe said so eloquently, have we finally entered the kaiju battles? That's all I can sit there and say. Have we finally entered the kaiju battles on Final Fantasy 16? Because I'm still going to play it regardless, but still.
I'm down.
I was like, but just fighting it as a kaiju, that's just, I don't know. Like I said before, I'm still looking forward to it, but I just can't get the cold kaiju battle out of my head.
Like, they need to be as over the top as Ashura's Wrath. These kaiju battles.
Ooh, that would be awesome.
I need to press R2 to make you pay for making my daughter cry.
Yeah, but I could do without the quick time events, though. Jesus, like I gave I thought my hand hurt for a good solid 2 days after playing Azura's Wrath. It's like all the quick time events, like my God. But no, that's gonna be cool too. Let's see. Before we go on to the crown jewel of this, as we get together talk about Street Fighter 6 really quickly. Amazon The Boys season 3 did premiere early yesterday. The first 3 episodes are out, with new episodes coming out every Friday. Again, it's definitely not something you should let your kids watch, but for the grown adults, I will say this just to summarize 3 episodes, you will not be disappointed. Eric Kripke and his writing team I was wondering, because when you write a show such as that, as it goes up in seasons, it's a little hard to actually keep it going. But somehow, some way, they have went over the top in 3 so far in its first 3 episodes, and it's great. Joe, have you seen The Boys?
I do not watch The Boys.
Okay, fair enough. But it's definitely, for me, I love the series. As I'm waiting for Invincible, just because I want to see the second season. I want to see the next season of that. But Boys right now, it's just, like I said, definitely adult, very mature, but completely off the rails. It is disgusting, it is mutilating, it is horrible, and yet somehow it is beautiful and addictive at the same time. It's like a Netflix series didn't think you'd be cool with, but you find yourself binge watching the whole entire time. Happened with me with Stranger Things, because I watched Stranger Things for the first time and immediately binge watched the first season in one night. So it just goes to show you something. But getting to the crown jewel, because again, with State of Play, there were some hits and misses, a lot of VR stuff, a lot of news of remakes, but we must, above all else, before Joe, who has painstakingly dug into this, he has even found a request for me, because when I first heard the soundtrack for the trailer, like most of you guys, I need to find this song. That song was just perfect for Street Fighter 6, but alas, Joe did find it, which I thank you for that, by the way. But anyway, let me, without further ado, bring up Capcom's next fighting edition of Street Fighter 6.
When you go looking for strength, it's not like a game. This journey doesn't have a real ending. Okay then, hope you're ready to begin. If you want to start off on the right foot in this city, hit the streets.
Yeah, ain't there I do this. Never fear losing. And when I get up in the game, y'all be improved. A real problem, but I solve them on Facebook. And if you think I'm gonna fold, then you totally fool. Yeah, y'all wanna win, let me spin, boy. I done society, I'm super fly like I'm hanging off the rim, boy. I've been winning for my kinfolk, and I put on for my city from the intro. Fight! It started from the ground up, training getting wound up, channeling it in itself and moving up and down, crossing over past the bound, on the time the clock and keep score. Years I never thought it crossed before. When I get out on my knees, I got it digging it deep. I feel like I'm on the left, it really has got me. Actions I was the win, no good vibes, and you just do it again.
The top player is here. Let me have some fun.
Ready? Then show me.
This will be a good fight. This is our destiny. My secret arts. Show you can!
Street Fighter 6.
Now again, if you use that part right there, I'm sorry. The first part, first off, the artwork is amazing. Soundtrack, if that's just the one song, I can only imagine what else they got going on. But Joe, as I'm getting the other links together, what were your thoughts about Street Fighter 6 that you saw?
Oh, well, first off, I applaud Capcom for giving Street Fighter an actual identity. We are actually going in with the hip-hop era. Probably sounds like, I would say the golden age of hip-hop, which is, I want to say 86 to 97.
Fair assessment.
I mean, work with me here. I'm trying.
No, that's a fair assessment. No, I'm literally agreeing with you. That's a fair assessment.
Oh, okay. It kind of takes that identity. We do see some characters have gotten older. I want to say Chun-Li's in her late 30s, possibly early 40s. We see her training with possibly her adopted daughter, Mei Fen. We see that Ryu has gotten past the Dark Hado. We can confirm the sash he is wearing is Oro's sash.
Mm-hmm.
So this means this happens post Third Strike. So we're finally past that. So now the timeline goes Street Fighter Alpha 1, 2, 3, Street Fighter 2,
mm-hmm.
Street Fighter 4, Street Fighter 3, or no, Street Fighter 5, Street Fighter 3, Street Fighter 6.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Also, Rainbow Championship edition. It's in there somewhere. I'm really excited for this. I love the fact that we're getting a first-person adventure mode called World Tour. We have not gotten a World Tour mode since Alpha 3.
Pretty much.
The fact that you're just a generic fighter dude running around Metro City, which apparently Metro City is like all of America.
I was laughing about how Metro City, I was like, really? A Final Fight reference? And if you don't see Guy or you don't see... I was like, hang on a second. Are we really using Metro City and not seeing Cody anywhere? But then again, still early. Cody
still early to be a DLC character. I mean, you know, Kenny Omega's got to do that voice work.
I was gonna go look up his Instagram to see what he thought about Street Fighter. But no.
We are getting quite a few characters in the starting roster. We'll get to that in a bit. What was showing off with Jamie, Luke looks so much better than Street Fighter 5 Luke, like leaps and bounds better. Chun-Li is looking fantastic. Paid way too much attention to her butt in this one. If you do this, all you gotta do is go to Mac Million, dude, and he'll just like do it.
We didn't enhance the graphics. We did not enhance the graphics. We did not enhance the graphics.
That woman is literally just thigh and then butt. Ryu looks fantastic. I love the graffiti art for stuff. The drive system, which we will go over here in a moment.
Yeah,
I cannot wait for that. There is some controversy going on with classic versus modern controls.
Man.
I mean, you know, we knew it was going to come because all fighting games are trying to get everybody comfortable with fighting games, and accessibility is important.
Mm-hmm.
It just is. Some people can want to do one button touches, that's fine, and then you got some of us that are the classic fighters, like Will and myself.
That were raised off that we
that
had
were
to
raised off them. Some of us were also raised off SNK pretzel motions. And our fingers are now triple jointed because of it. I mean, I
just not thought about I just thought about Samurai Showdown when I was trying to watch Rocco's move. I was like, ow.
Of the two of us, I can do Raging Storm on command whenever I feel like.
Oh, that was.
And then there's my sister Jane, who plays the grapple characters in SNK, and can just absolutely obliterate most people. Jesus. She's also a very violent woman when playing video games. It's kind of terrifying.
Damn.
We don't know why she has gamer rage and I don't.
You're calm and controlled, but as Joe was saying, I just want to point this out while he was talking, because this is actually from the Capcom website where they did talk about modern and classic. Like Joe was saying, modern control types, they are going to go to where you'll be able to perform special moves with single button combinations. Like Joe was saying, some people may have some issues with it, but again, it's all about inclusivity. You know, some people. And again, we're not knocking on you. This is not a knock. This is not an insult. This is not anything of the above. Your play style, I've always said this about fighting games. Your play style is what you make it. You know, for a lot of us, we had to adapt to whatever the system was. Like Joe was saying, we had to learn how to put our thumbs became circus acts, because if we literally and figuratively showed you, SNK games, SNK Neo Geo games, if we showed you TurboGrafx games, if we showed you arcade menus where they actually had the special moves on top of the arcade machines, and you looked at that and was like, how did you pull this off? Practice. A lot of quarters, but practice. Excuse me, but practice. Well, with that being said, though, they are moving it to, and again, I dig it. It is, like I said, including inclusivity. At the same time, a lot of people are going to complain, but I always say it like this. If you're good, no matter what the other person has, if you're better than them, you'll beat them regardless. I mean, keep in mind, we come from the age from where people are like, well, if you get Ryu, if you can get Ryu, you're just going to spam Fireball. Okay, beat me. It sounds like if I keep doing one certain thing over and over again, you're going to lose. Sounds like it's your skill level, not mine. Or my personal favorite in Street Fighter 2, if you had Chun-Li or you had E Honda or you had Blanca, they swear up and down you're going to lightning leg them, 100-hand slap, or electrocute. But again, it all comes down to skill, which is where a lot of us, like I said, Joe, myself, and others included, will be like, you can play however you want to. I'm just going to put my best skill against you and go from there. So I've got nothing against this. I actually think it's a great thing that they're giving you modern or classic control type. And again, if people got issues with it, well, then it sounds like a little butthurt. That's just me. But who else wouldn't mind doing a Hadouken with a single button, or doing his meta Hadouken by just holding R2 and just pressing the circle button 3 times? You're still competing, because if you haven't noticed, it's not like your opponent's going to sit there and just wait for you to do it. This isn't Power Rangers. You don't expect the guy to sit there while I'll go through your whole morphing thing and think that he's going to be like, you done now? No. So there is going to be a little bit of competition in it. But I think some people, again, just like when it comes to like Star Wars toxic fandom, you're going to find some people who are just literally and figuratively just finding something to complain about. I think it's a great thing. But what else are you going to say, Joe?
Well, first and foremost, let's look at where we are right now. We are seeing that this game is returning to the Xbox.
Yeah.
I, honest to God, much like many others, thought that Street Fighter was going to be PlayStation exclusive for now to the end of time, but now we know that this is going to be on PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, both versions of the Xboxes, and PC.
Yep.
That's pretty good. And all I got to do is can we have good netcode, and can we have crossplay?
I think we are going to have crossplay. I think at this point that because crossplay is becoming a standard now, it has to be. That I think they will make it work. Capcom doesn't really have a lot of problems between Sony and Xbox with their crossplay. I think that they've gotten the kinks out of that, because PC and Sony players and PC and Xbox players had no problem playing with each other. So why not Xbox and PlayStation? That's just my opinion, though. But I don't think we're gonna have an opinion. I don't think we're gonna have a problem with crossplay. But again, but thanks to Joe, he actually did find a link on other characters that have been announced. I want to show this one really quickly too, because this one
Let's look at the drive system. Oh yeah, this.
Oh, you want to do the drive system first?
No, well, go ahead. We'll show this. So this does confirm Cammy having her new design, where she has both a classic costume and Cammy with pants.
That's just wild. Hang on, let me play it. Let me play it again. So she still has her.
You got a butt shot of her right there, so you know.
Yeah, I was trying to think of what that move was called. Her EX
Cannon
move.
Spike?
Say what?
Cannon Spike?
I think so. But I dig it though. I mean, the fact that she's a part of it, and again, we're not focusing on the butt. I just want to point this out. We're not focusing on the butt. That's just graphics. Because
there are a lot of people focusing on the butt, upset that she's got pants on now, and I'm like, you can change to older costumes. We already know it.
Because that's just the thing I want to sit there and say the whole entire time was I was like, God.
Right, like, so yeah. So let's look at this battle system, which I got popped up. Let's look at the graffiti of Street Fighter. This gets any more colorful. This is just JoJo All-Star Battle R.
Pretty much. I dig it.
Oh yeah. Let's head over to the drive system.
Okay, so of course, before we do that, so of course the drive gauge. Now, a lot of people are gonna be wondering the two things, because I wondered it myself. Real quick, Joe. So you do have the drive gauge. Of course, it's actually gonna be right there. The one thing you don't notice is the confusion level. There is not one. So
the stun gauge. So the stun gauge is actually the more you beat on your opponent, the face portraits will actually start to crack, and then once they're stunned, they break.
Interesting. Okay. So okay. That's just actually I like that. I wouldn't. No wonder they're gonna be pushing the drafts on this. But anyway, so drive system. What do you want to start with, Joe?
We'll just start with one and go down the thing.
All right.
So drive impact, powerful attack. Well, I got it up on my side. I can just read it on my side too.
Yeah. So yeah, powerful strike. So drive impact being what? Powerful strike that
properly.
Say what?
Hold on, my side's got to load too.
Oh no, you're good. I understand the artwork kills me. You know, the fact that the guys are jumping.
Who may or may not be the cousin of yin and yang. Yin and yang.
I wouldn't be surprised.
There we go. Drive system revealed. Well, his likes are yin and yang, so he's either a fan, a student, or he is literally their family member. So this is for one drive gauge. You get a powerful. You get pretty much just an focused armor attack. So an FADC almost. And if it's done in the corner, it wall splats. And if you want to do it, it's going to cost one gauge, and it's R1 and R2 together. Moving on over, we have the parry system is back, and this is more in line with Third Strike's parries, because what parrying does is it replenishes your drive gauge. And if you can also get perfect parries, which we have seen some of them already in the trailer.
Yeah.
You just do medium attacks. You get overdrives, which are very similar to those of the EX attacks. They cost 2 pips. So you do as it says here, the overdrive Hadoken, which is down, forward to light and heavy punch.
Yeah.
Yep. It's the same as an EX attack. It's just it's gonna make your Shinku Hadoken into a Denji Hadoken.
But still, I'm sure about the fact that the definition. This is what I'm looking. This is what I'm hoping the graphics. But then again, so was 5. 5 was impressive, but 6 just
6 is something of its own beast. Like
it really is. I was like, I just can't stop looking at the artwork. But I do like the fact, like I said, about the whole down, forward, down, forward, down, and then forward, and then square in R1, and then of course the modern, right trigger, and medium punch. So,
yep.
So that's definitely going to be interesting, especially with that. But
moving on over, we have Drive Rush, which costs 1 gauge or 3 gauge, depending how you do it. So this is literally a dash cancel.
Okay.
So if you dash cancel from a parry, it only costs 1. But if you dash cancel out of a normal attack, it costs you 3. So we're getting some weird, good stuff out of this.
This is going to be a whole lot of countering.
So here's the thing. So this is going to teach people risk, reward, and meter management because the drive gauge is your mobility, your defense, and your offense.
Yeah. But I like the fact. But again, but you're right though. It is going to either you're going to be aggressive or you're going to be conservative. And depending on your play style, you might have to switch it up sometimes. Considering the fact.
And then finally, we have drive reversal, which costs 2 drive gauge, while blocking forward and R2, R1. For those of us that are veteran fighters, this is alpha counter.
Mm-hmm.
Low damage, but gets you out of pressures and puts them possibly just in a hit frame, stun frame animation, meaning you can follow up, or it's pretty much for some of those of you that have done Killer Instinct, this is combo breaker.
Same thing like in Tekken 7. Like in current Tekken is the same way where you can still get hit, but you can still counter. But I still dig it though, because it's still a risk versus reward situation. You can still get knocked out, but at the same time, you can still beat the other person. So it comes down to who hits who. So I dig that.
They talk about Fighting Ground, which is going to be just standard fighting.
Yeah.
Battle Hub, which is our multiplayer online. Some of us have this is where we have data mined a lot of the stuff to confirm a lot of our things. So if you enhance the picture, which it actually does give you the button to show the pictures. If you look down in the arcade, you get character confirmations of Guile and Cammy fighting. If you go over here to the event contenders, this is where we got a large amount of our confirmations here. What characters are here?
I'm sorry, what are you saying?
A large amount of characters from the roster are confirmed in the event contender part. So go over to middle one. Go over to modes.
All right, say that one more time.
Go over to modes.
Okay.
Go to Battle Hub.
Keep.
Let it load. Hit the expand picture button. So yeah, like I was saying, this is where we gleaned all this information on who's in the roster because they got the names off of the side brackets here. If you look closely and they zoomed in down on the arcades below, this is how we got confirmation of Guile and Cammy. Even in the trailer itself, we got confirmation of either Guy or Maki's new student, Kimberly.
That's so crazy because I'm like, somebody really took the time to really zoom in.
Oh, yeah.
I see about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possibles. Or actually 6 in the corner over here. 7 if they can zoom in hard enough.
We can confirm mostly on the right side, it's just the same photo of Guile and Cammy.
But still, just that's funny.
I know it.
I was talking to Joe about this before we started the podcast. It's like it is amazing the level of detail folks will look and go frame by frame on anything available and actually see it. And I'm not surprised by it. But I'm sorry, Joe, what were you gonna say?
Yeah, you were really resistant to talking about some of this stuff unless we had absolute confirmation.
Yes, you're exactly right. I mean, don't get me wrong. Even though the other link I was going to show, to this, because they actually had some leaked concepts, and that right there, it's like you can't really knock it because number one, these are way too detailed. The fact there's, I'm sorry, go ahead.
Well, I mean, right beside Luke, the female Italian MMA fighter, she's in one of the billboards in the opening of the trailer.
Yeah.
So that confirms her. And the street go down and actually like go all the way down. All the way down. Okay, open this and do a new tab, and we'll just run them down.
Hang on.
See if you can blow it up a little.
Give me a second. It's okay. Look a little choppy,
so,
but
the brackets did confirm Zangief, Dalsim, E Honda, Blanca, Guile. We already know Ryu and Chun-Li are in the game.
Of course.
So we have all of our classic 8 World Warriors back in this game. Ken, we all know, has already become a meme because that man, his life has been dragged through the thing. And there's even a possibility that we will get a canon appearance of Violence Ken in a Street Fighter game with how bad his life has been because she took the kids, Ryu.
Of course.
Down below in the second row is returning fighters, which we have confirmation of Cammy because Cammy with pants.
This is supposed to be DJ?
That is DJ's new thing. I'm actually for it.
I'm not knocking. I'm down. I was like, this is DJ. I'm cool with that.
Yeah, I like that DJ's coming back. I like that he's less stereotypical from what he was in the previous Street Fighter things.
Yeah.
That is Rashid from Street Fighter 5.
Yep.
We don't need to know who that is. That's very obvious. It's Jury.
Yeah.
Ed is back, and Ed is interesting because he is both Germany and still Shadowloo. And Akuma apparently is now just a giant bear man.
I dig it.
And now below we have the new fighters, which we all have confirmation of, so we know who Luke is.
Yeah.
We do not have a name for that fighter, but she is an Italian wrestler woman with red hair and MMA Legionnaire look that wears black and gold. We don't have a name. We have Jamie, who is Yunin Yang's either fan or cousin, and he's a drunken martial arts style. Over beside her is only in Elite, which at this point, this is confirmation.
Yeah.
Is female Abel. So this is either Abel's star student or I can't say daughter because she's too old, but possibly new thing. That will probably be my main because my main's not in this game, at least in season 1.
Yeah.
Next up, we have this Mexican girl in a green tunic with 2 Aztec weapons who may be Jury's and T-Hawk's daughter. Next up from also, we have JP, who they state a dandy Russian with psycho power. So this may be a new body for Bison, or this may be somebody that inherited psycho power, or it could be Rose's teacher. We don't know.
I'm going to go with Bison reincarnated. I'm going then Bison reincarnated just because the story
well,
makes
we know that Ed was also supposed to be a potential body for Bison.
Yeah. But that's going to be interesting. Although I do have to ask about this because this character
that is Kimberly, and she is a ninjutsu girl. So her her top is reminiscent of Guy. So she's either a student of Guy or Maki.
Maki probably. But
and
I
then,
think it was though.
And then the other final person is a Chinese assassin with a hairstyle like Sawada from Keegan. I don't know what that means. She uses poison like Fang, hopefully she will be much more playable than Fang. Except for that one time someone just decided to meme a tournament and win it with Fang.
That actually happened?
That happened.
Wow. Brave.
One of the big names, too. He just decided to meme a tournament and win with Fang.
Huh.
But these are new fighters for the first season. Like I said, this is pretty much all confirmed, with the exception of, like, I really don't know. I think at this point, everybody is confirmed.
But still, DJ looks great.
We have one of the largest opening rosters of 22 fighters.
Yep. And it's going to be I was like, okay. So I know usually whenever I play Street Fighter, I kind of have a rotation, but Akuma does look like he just stayed in the woods, never came back. But I dig the look, though. Almost to the point if I had enough fur, I could cosplay it. But yeah.
See, I don't know who I want to play in this iteration because Laura's not in this and Sean's not in this.
Oh, I would
unless they're in DLC. So if Jury plays more like Street Fighter 4 Jury, I'll try it. I did not like the Street Fighter 5 incarnation of Jury. I prefer the pinwheels as opposed to the fireballs.
I still do the traditional route. I still do Ryu, Ken, E Honda, Blanca, Guile, Chung-Lai, DJ, Cammy, Akuma, and I would probably try Luke just because I like his look. I would probably try him because the drunken style, which is interesting. But yeah, I already have in mind. I already have in mind some players.
Probably try Ed. I will definitely try Lady Abel because Abel was my main for a good while until Gouken came out in 4. So I'll try that. I mean, there's just so many options. We aren't really used to a very large roster in Street Fighter right off the bat.
Yeah, we're used to like 8, less than 8, 5, actually. But no, I think it's gonna be cool though. I mean, just from the list of fighters that you have, the drive system, which I think is gonna be great, the fact that you can go modern or you can go classical. The only thing I'm gonna be worried about is, like I said, I don't want it to be. Hopefully, they take their time with it. I know they said we're not going to have a release till 2023, but
no, honestly, I think what Capcom is going to do is they're going to do the 1-2 punch again and release this like in January, and then have Resident Evil come out in March.
I can see that. Well, they wouldn't. They definitely are not going to risk it. Resident Evil, considering the fact that's not going to be a cash cow in March, but. The fact it's gonna, I would say January, but I don't know. See, beginning of the year is kind of iffy. They usually wait until March or May to release it, but I could be completely wrong on that. But overall, though, I mean, it just looks freaking great.
The biggest bonus to this game is they actually have a focus on single player.
Yeah,
that is just the complete opposite route because they learned that bit them in the ass real bad with Street Fighter 5.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing about it though. It's just them, kind of getting. I won't say they experimented because Soul Calibur, when they had that weird campaign with that one guy. It's 4. It was 4. Yeah. They had the weird campaign. They had the weird campaign on that one that a lot of people didn't like. It didn't like as far as story modes go.
And then they had conquest mode in Mortal Kombat. But like, what bit them in the butt last time is they dropped it at the start of the FGC season.
Yeah.
And strictly made it the esports game, and then no one came, and then it left so many potential players out in the cold.
Yeah.
That it bit them in the butt and sales suffered. Like. Street Fighter 5's launch was abysmal. Like, it failed hard.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And now we're getting basically, let's go be Kazuma Kiryu in Metro City.
But still, I mean, it has a lot. It's like from the ground up, it really does have a lot of potential to be great. That's the reason why I'm like, I'm really rooting for this the same way I'm rooting that we'll hopefully have another Killer Instinct. We already know another Mortal Kombat's going to be coming.
Well, I mean, like there are so many potential characters. I mean, I want to say the whole city's a hint at who we're getting for DLC because that's a really high poly version of Thrasher from the Magyar gang that we see in the trailer.
Yeah.
Like, maybe he's a fighter that we just happen to fight in like roaming mode. Chun-Li's daughter Mei Fen, which you see her sparring in Chinatown.
Yeah.
She could be somebody you run into. Gosh, I mean, we still haven't seen Saddam since Alpha.
True. And
he could be DLC.
There's gonna be. I'm almost certain there's gonna be a whole lot of other ones that have yet to make appearances. But like I said, my whole thing is if the roster is gonna be expansive, I don't want the whole nickel and dime situation. Like if there's one thing I'll say I wish they learned from 5 that they don't bring into 6, don't nickel and dime us with the characters. I mean, learn from what Mortal Kombat did. Well, nope, that's wrong because Mortal Kombat did that too. They released 2 or 3 characters at a time instead of just releasing more than 5 in one bid and then coming down the pipe. So if we are going to have seasons like I know we're going to have in Street Fighter 6, give us worth our while, because if we're going to be making purchases for season passes, it's got to be worth it. Not all the crazy costumes, the variations, yeah, that all comes with it. But for me, I'm like, I need characters. It's just like Gears 5. Yes, Microsoft, I'm looking at you. Gears 5, we only get 1 DLC and that's it. Gears 6 better be everything that I asked for. But that's my small little rant. But no, I think all in all, I think Street Fighter 6, like I said, it made up for what we saw at State of Play. With it might have just been 85% VR and then 15% the rest of it. But Street Fighter it's Street Fighter 6. I think is going to probably be hopefully a good game come next year. But what do you think?
So the other reason I think this is coming out sooner rather than later is that Cammy Ultra trailer we just saw.
Yeah,
someone's already got it. So I mean, if we're getting finished footage of an Ultra from a character that has not even been like debuted, then they are very far along, and all they're doing is either polishing or making sure the single player content is done before it goes. So I think we're getting it at the beginning of the year.
I mean, it's a reasonable logic track. Like I said, I just don't want well, then again, 5 didn't have a lot of bugs that I can remember, but if 6 is a polished game,
5's biggest bug was like Chun-Li's water balloon boobs incident. You don't remember that?
I'm chuckling. Hang on.
Okay.
That's the reason why I laughed, because that part.
Where somehow my Shiranui snuck into Street Fighter's select screen.
Yeah, somehow DO8 graphics got transferred to Street Fighter.
They kick so high. Like, well, it's Chun-Li. That goes with it. The other cool thing that was shown in the trailer that very few people picked up on is some of the combos that Ryu and Chun-Li were doing were beta versions of Street Fighter 5 combos. Like Chun-Li doing the spinning bird kick that went upward.
Yeah. And this time it was a flip. It was spinning bird kick. I thought it was a flip.
Well, it wasn't a spinning bird kick, but it was like a progressively escalating tornado kick that went upward.
Yeah.
We did see that her ultimate may be paying homage to Marvel vs. Capcom, because it looks like it's her demon kick.
I can see that. But I don't. I want to speculate so much, but at the same time, I just want to play the damn game. But that's
It isn't going to make me go to local tournaments, so
I got to practice.
Which if I can find somebody I gel with, then it'll be local tournaments.
I have to go back. I would have to go back. I would have to go back and go buy a decent arcade stick and go practice.
I still play on pad, but I'm already getting pretty decent with lore because of the new changes. They actually made her her V trigger overhead usable, because on block you can dash cancel out of it and just throw them.
Interesting. Well, that's something to keep in touch with. Now I'm gonna be in the back of my head. The water mechanics are all over again. It's the reason why people play DOA so much. But anyway, that's neither here nor there on another subject. But Joe, what news and comic pools do you have for us, sir?
Biggest news of the week is Joe Quesada leaves Marvel. He is the editor-in-chief. Now we're out of Dio and Quesada, so that means Marvel and DC can go play in the same sandbox again. That also means Spider-Man can get married again without any interference. Because Joe Quesada was the editorial chief that forced that one more day and one moment in time to happen.
Yeah.
Because you can't tell good stories if Peter Parker's married. Bullshit.
You're not wrong. I just thought about the fact that he was a part of every time there was a roadblock, but.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he was also head of a whole lot of very good initiatives because he took the initiative and pushed out the Marvel Knights stuff, which is fantastic. All the more adult-themed stories for the ground level superheroes was nothing short of amazing. I mean, he contributed just as much as he hindered, if not contributing more than he hindered. I mean, he was one of the much like Dan DiDio is one of the editors-in-chief where he's like, all right, bring your hatred to me. You got to realize I'm the one making the writers do this. So if you have issues, come to me. So, and I will always call a spade. That's a good sign of a good leader where he's willing to say, they didn't do it. I'm the one that told them to do it.
Yeah. But no, he's in a position where it's like you can decide how we change things. But no, I've not thought about that as you talk about that news. I'm like, yep. And they talked about how Kevin Feige was at one time in talks with DC. I'm like, no, the mouse wants to own DC. It's like, I don't.
DC, they are now establishing their own studio, DC Studios, under the new Warner Brother Discovery umbrella, which Warner Brother Discovery for everything that's going on, and they are tightening their wallets. But I also see that as a form of quality control because they have canceled production on quite a few things and are letting things go. So they are willing to greenlight stuff that they know will make them money.
Yeah.
And halt production on things that they're like, no one's asking for this. Why is this going to be a thing?
Like the Wonder Twins?
The Wonder Twins, I question why they greenlit Gotham Knights, but we both have to come to the unfortunate conclusion that the Bat prints money. That doesn't mean we're going to watch it. It will probably not be in our rotation to watch it.
I'm just going to tell you off the bat. No.
We will probably, out of morbid curiosity, both watch the first episode.
And
both turn it halfway off, halfway through, and then read a synopsis of the rest, like how I do with things often.
I'm just like, no, just the whole. And I feel bad because the guy who was playing Harvey Dent, who was one of my favorite actors in Supernatural, I'm like, oh, and I felt so bad for him. Like, this show is not going to last a season. I'll be surprised if it lasts a season because Gotham Knights it has CW drama. It has CW teen drama written all over it. So that's why I was like, no.
Yeah, but you know who the sweetheart's going to be out of that entire series is Duella Dent.
Yeah. It's just, I just can't get past this. I can't. It's like, how many more times are you guys going to stay in Gotham? And I said, this has been CW's problem. They want to involve 9% teen drama, 10% original comic book story. It doesn't work. You guys have tried it multiple times. I mean, that's the reason why Batwoman got canceled. It's the reason why Legends got canceled. It's the reason why Arrow, for it to have 5 good solid seasons of good television, that the last 2 seasons were good and terrible, is the reason why I never got the ending it should have gotten. And then the Crisis, Infinite Crisis, all together, multiverse kind of show episodes, they didn't really do well. It's just, how many more times you gonna keep going to the well and realizing it's bone dry? That's all I'm saying. But anyway, I'm sorry. I just went on the rant. Go ahead, Joe.
No, you're good, my dude. You know I interrupt you like 95% of the series.
I just can't bring myself. I mean, you're right. I can't. I will give it a fair shot. It will get a fair shot. Now, that fair shot might be 20 minutes into the show, and so I realize I got better things I can watch. But I will still give it a fair shot. But still, it's just the whole idea. It's like, this is why I wish that Stargirl, Superman, Lois would just go over to HBO Max and be happy and be completely happy in that universe while the other ones just go the way of the dinosaur. That would be nice.
So, as I was saying, DC is getting its own studio to make things. They are searching for their Kevin Feige.
Mm-hmm.
Their current creative director, I believe, is what it was, stepped down. I'm not sure if that's correct, but they did have one of the heads of the current regime that was running DC stuff stepped down for like television and motion picture.
Yeah, he did. I can't remember his name, but he did.
Moving on over to comics, DC is gearing up for Dark Crisis, but it's also ending a lot of things and a lot of books I don't read. Like, I don't read Batman. I'm not reading Shadow War because I don't care about Deathstroke and what he's up to.
I kind of follow it just because I want to see where it goes, but go ahead.
Like, I don't care. If Deathstroke's not involving the Titans, I don't care. I don't care what Deathstroke is doing. Somehow it tied into, of all things, Geoforce. Oh, by the way, Young Justice this week. Pretty good.
I'm watching
it next week. Got to see how this one ends out because not really agreeing what they're doing with Connor, but it is what it is.
See, I'm actually starting that and Stranger Things at the same time from the way beginning, so I'm catching up on both of those.
Oh boy. Mm-hmm. So, Justice League Road to Dark Crisis. This is an anthology series for the new potential members of the Justice League as they are dealing with the fallout of the Justice League proper being killed while just going about their daily lives.
Mm-hmm.
Team Up is written by Josh Williamson with pencils by Dan Jurgens. Life Purpose is by Jeremy Adams and Rosie Compi. Survivors is Chuck Brown and Fico Osio. The Pariah is Philip Kennedy Johnson by Layla Del Duca. Pardon me. Because of Night is written by Stephanie Phillips and art by Clayton Henry. So Team Up is John and Superboy talking things out, mostly because John's trying to convince Dick, hey, we got to form a Justice League. Our parents are dead. And and Dick's like, dude, I went to your dad's funeral. They're all coming back.
That was a good interaction. That was a really good story as far as them trying to get. It's amazing they were both. One was trying to convince the other and acting exactly as their fathers would, which I thought was funny.
Yeah, but they also came to a consensus much quicker than their fathers.
True, can't argue that.
Which I liked. What was the other one? The other one is Life Purpose by Jeremy Adams. This is the Flash thing where it looks at Wally and Kid Flash as they continue their stuff. Someone makes a very good point that this is probably hurting Wally to lose Barry a second time, and that Barry's return probably hurt Wally even worse than when he died because Barry chose his family of the past and pretty much erased his new family just for a taste of the old without even a second thought, which is out of character for Barry Allen, but that's the DC of the time. So Wally is trying to deal with losing his mentor a second time, as well as people he served with for most of his adult life, because he was a member of the Justice League until Barry came back, and a very prominent member at that. So it's just a race across the country to prevent as many crimes as possible, as kind of like a way to occupy his mind about the current events, knowing that a crisis is coming and flashes just don't end well in crises.
Yeah, but who doesn't love a great game of whack-a-mole?
I mean, this is true. But then the question rises, what's a whack-a-mole? The other one is Survivors. This is where Green Lantern interacts with Aqualad or Jackson Hyde, the new Aquaman. It's Hal Jordan, which I am less than thrilled with. I would have thought this would have been much better done. And this is not me because I'm hating on Hal Jordan. I think this would have been served better if this was Joe Mullins coming to Earth going, hey, what's going on? We lost contact with Jon Stewart.
and then finding out about the league being dead.
Yeah.
But no, I did dig the fact. The fact of the whole thing about trying to stop the species from destroying the Earth's oceans, and then it's like
they basically stopped the DC's universe of Venom from coming to Earth.
Pretty much. He's like, "Oh, really?" And he starts communicating with him. Oh, that's terrible. Your planet was being destroyed. Oh yeah, we can find room. It's just after all that, it's like, oh, we got room. Come on.
Yeah, after they moved the symbiotes from the alien species, Jack's like, oh, yeah, 2 doors down. You're good.
I was just like, is it really just you're at the wrong spot, but we get you taken care of. But no, I did like that one little spot where it's like, I would love to talk to Aquaman. It's like, dude, the league is dead. Oh, well, wait, what? I'm like, beside the millions of symbiote controlled aliens coming at us, let's solve this problem first and then figure out what we're going to do about you. But no, I like that. I mean, that one was pretty cool too. The one I didn't get though was probably the next story. That one felt to me like the weakest one.
Pariah?
Not Pariah.
Because the one with Nocturna and Stephanie?
That one.
So that one actually kind of reminds me a little bit of the Shade, where he's only a villain because he just like enjoys having a life where someone can challenge him.
Yeah.
And once he like doesn't have that challenge, he just becomes a chill dude. And I think Nocturna is kind of the same way, where she's really only committing crimes just for the sake of having challenge in her life. And now that they're gone,
it's like no meeting. It's like
there's no meeting, and then like people come to recruiters like, "Hey, we're getting the secret society back together. You want in?"
Pretty much. It's like she pulled a Joker. Without Batman, it has no meaning. It's like when Joker found out Batman was dead, he's like, "Why am I doing this anymore? It's not funny." I'll never forget that for as long as I live. That was probably gonna be one of my favorite Batman episodes, where Joker just like, there's no fun in this anymore. He's dead. It's like he just walks off. But
we're gonna put that guy there and that box there, and then send him into the acid. Who wants Chinese?
Yeah, he's like, it's not fun for him anymore. But no, I mean, aside from that, that was the only part of the Road Dark Crisis I didn't like. Every other angle actually gave it a lot more impact to the story.
Yeah, Pariah, most definitely, because this is happening prior to even the Justice League 75. This is like Pariah's psyche just completely shutting down on him.
Oh yeah, the fact that he was like, I'm just gonna be a drifter as long as I'm a drifter, that I can't develop the machine that can destroy the multiverse. And I mean, it's amazing the logic that he came to on that. It was like, as long as if I just remain a drifter, if I just remain obsolete, the world is safe. As you literally see, your dead wife comes to you and says, "You need to build a machine. How dare you? How dare you? You couldn't save us. You should be able to save them." It's like that whole eventually recognition of, I have to build this machine in order to save the multiverse. And it's like he went from trying to not be involved to be involved, but again, that's his curse, to always be there when the multiverse dies. But I thought that was pretty cool as far as that story goes.
It really is just kind of a shame that this was just a very dry week for DC, but it was also like the end of the month and the beginning of the month at the same time, and that usually does happen in comics.
Yeah. But I mean, overall, aside from that last story in the bit, the entire Road Dark Crisis, this issue was actually pretty good.
Moving on over, we got Knights of X Part 2. I really am enjoying this. I love Excalibur so much. We get the return of one of the classic Excalibur characters. Jubilee gets to find out her toddler son is having a great time as a big old dragon. Some people like Mordred. Some people don't like Mordred. Gambit is bribing the inhabitants of the magical world with Pop-Tarts for information.
That part I did enjoy. That part I did. It's like, here's your currency. I was like, did he just hand her a Pop-Tart? I mean, a pretty big freaking Pop-Tart, but a Pop-Tart. I was like,
Merlin has possibly screwed over King Arthur by turning Jim Japers against him.
Possibly.
And they just lead to like a giant rebellion to get all the mutants of the magical realm and get them just do giant prison break, destroying magical sentinels, which of course there are magical sentinels. Because why not? So I love this book. I don't know how much you're enjoying it, but like I really like Excalibur.
I will say this: I enjoyed Knights of X more than Legion of X because Knights of X, it was just my personal preference.
Oh no! I'm agreeing with you. I'm still trying to figure out what the heck is going on in half of Legion of X.
Because Knights of X was kind of like if a dungeon master took over X-Men and decided to do a quest. That's about the best way I can explain this. There's a reason why I like it. That's the reason why I really like the story. But no, I mean, I definitely dig Knights of X. But
I mean, classic Excalibur is just Doctor Who if it was X-Men.
That's also true. Nah, but Legion of X.
So who's writing what? So Teenie Howard is the writer, Bob Quinn is the artist, and Eric Arciniga is the colorist. We got everybody here is part of it. Clune from Classic Excalibur makes her return. I miss Megan. I love that Megan's back in this. She's such a sweetie. I also love that she constantly is bothering Gambit.
Y'all gonna leave my boy alone. Gambit is like, I am just trying to make things happen. You gotta let Gambit know that stealing is legal. Stealing is still illegal, Gambit. I was like, wow, just let the man just can't be.
My favorite thing, and this isn't a book we're not looking at, but it's still the X-Men 92 issue 2. Did you even read that just out of curiosity?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, so you know what I'm talking about, where Rogue is like, it's okay, sugar. They don't even notice me.
Right. As he's steady more swiping. I was like, dude, why? He's like, well, they're not going to notice. It's like.
She's like, oh, that's why.
I just want to shake my head like, you know what? That is Gambit. It's
Rogue in a wetsuit that can barely zip up over her chest. And Gambit's like, Sheriff, look at your crew. And she just like looks over. It's actually some of the people from Knights of X. It's Richter, Shatterstar, Northwind, some giant red dude I don't know, and Iceman. For those of you unaware, all those people are prominent gay X-Men men. So when Rogue tells Gambit, don't worry, they're never going to notice me no matter what. Then I like that she pokes fun of the X-Men episode featuring Iceman. It's like, I wonder if that's why Bobby and Lorna never worked out.
Damn.
Or no, she says, now I know why Bobby and Lorna never worked out.
Ooh, just burn unit.
Not burn unit.
Just come on now. It's like, come on now. That was a shot. Come on.
I just like that they have no problem making Rogue as sexual as she was in the cartoon, because she is just leaning over for her things to look cute.
Yeah.
It's like when she's laying on her side in front of Apocalypse. The butt's huge. In this issue, the boobs are huge.
No complaints.
Nope. I do like there also is a fun little back and forth with Sabretooth and Wolverine. It's like, we got to play nice now, Rhett. Just keeps poking the small little bear.
I was like, that. Do you want to see a murder? Do you want to see a murder? That's all. In my head, that's all I could sit there and say was, this is what's going to make it end horribly. But no, it was really good. It was a really good issue.
So moving on over, we are looking at Strange Issue 3. This is written by Jed McKay. Art by Marcelo Ferreira. Inkers are Roberto Dogi and Don Ho. Coloring by Java Tartiga. So last time we heard that the commandos that attacked the other world, the magical world bazaar, came back. Cleo was not happy about that. Immediately goes to the Rose like, so you're a mid-level gangster, which is already insulting the Rose, who is Wilson Fisk's newly resurrected son. It's like, I need information. Tell me who these people are. to the Rose to her. It's like, I can have my men here in a moment. Clea just lifts that snake. So these are your men. Damn. I need names.
That part was messed up. That's what I was like, oh, you mean them? Oh, they're right here. Like, I was like, damn. It's like, you will tell me where the blasphemy cartel is. It's just like, do you not forget? It's like, oh, well, usually things require payment. I didn't say I was paying you. I just said you're gonna tell me. I was like,
or you will join your men.
Pretty much. But it's like, oh, at that point, it's like, yeah, let me go ahead and give you their information. But the whole thing about the blasphemy cartel is like they're trying to lead her into a trap. It's like, wait a second, you guys just have instant spells built into the car. So let me get this straight. You have GP navigation, heated seats, and the ability to teleport through a ley line. Cool.
I like that they also have the Sands of Ashanti, which for everybody in the MCU, now you know what the Sands of Ashanti are because of Doctor Strange.
Mm-hmm.
And then Cleo's like, oh, yeah, I can't use Earth magic. By the way, I'm the Sorcerer Supreme of the Dark Dimension. I can still wield Dark Dimension magic.
And just, it went full tilt. It's like, oh, yeah, Earth magic. Oh, that's cute.
And then we got the big bad for them, who I don't know if his name was dropped, but we just see solid white with like a 0 mark on his head.
They just called him Director Zero.
Okay, Director Zero.
Yeah.
And then we get the most terrifying news of all things. Mom's coming to visit.
That was funny. Wong was like, what does this mean? She says, dark things are coming. What? My mother. It's like, damn. It's just, that's pretty bad. But then it's like Director Zero says, I think we need to, it's like the one part at the end where it's like, I think we need to call in a, what did he call it? He called it a certain thing.
I don't know.
It was something about an agent. But the next page was like, they're calling. I mean, you see a screenshot of Moon Knight fighting Clea.
So that is actually the evil Moon Knight Shadow Moon.
Okay.
Or something else. It's there is like an evil monster version of Moon Knight.
Okay, because I was like, did they really? I was like, when I saw that screen, I was like, are they really calling in Moon Knight to fight her? Which I guess on that realm
he's called Shadow Knight.
Oh, Shadow Knight. Got it. Because I was like, I guess in that sense, they would be able to fight on par. I mean, it is in the world of it is in the magical realm. But no. I mean, this issue, I really didn't. I'm sorry, go ahead.
So, Shadow Knight is Randall Spector.
Okay.
The brother of Mark Spector. He is not made up. He is the actual brother of Mark Spector. So, apparently somebody resurrected that little boy's body and he is now evil Moon Knight. Who believes him to be the rightful avatar of Khonshu and shares all of his powers, including new ones like he has laser eyes. He was also a serial killer known as Hatchet Man who would constantly clash with Moon Knight in the early days.
It sounds that's what the next issue is going to be, and I'm definitely looking forward to that. But no, this issue number 3 was pretty good though. I really did like it.
Moving on over to Ghost Rider number 3.
That was a what the hell comment. That was a what the hell issue.
This is written by Benjamin Percy, and art is by Corey Smith and Brent Peebles, with inks by Roberto Poggi and Brent Peebles, with coloring by Brian Valencia. Look, I'm going to tell you, I don't know what the heck happened in this issue. I'll just say the only important thing that happened is we got to see Ghost Rider make a 18-wheeler into a Ghost Rider vehicle.
It was, I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a rushed issue. It's like, wait a second. So you're telling me that the Spirit of It sent you to a red road to find this being that apparently is taking souls off the road. The one guy who picks you up, which again has all the red flags, and it's like he's basically sacrificing you with a trunk full of body parts already in the back.
And then we have like the Legion of, lawful evil demons.
I guess.
Like it was very like gray on if they were good or evil, but like they were at least lawful.
Mm-hmm. It was weird. I mean, they did backtrack to Agent to Agent, kind of give a little bit of her backstory. But yeah, it just felt like, wait a minute. So now you basically just telling us that, okay, so he possessed a wrecked 18-wheeler and decided to go head to head with, I'm guessing, I was trying to think of that movie with all those evil trucks, and I could not think of it to save my life.
Maximum Overdrive.
Thank you. And I'm now calling you on trivia nights. But yeah, Maximum Overdrive. That's what it reminded me of when I was like, so killer truck.
I mean, Maximum Overdrive is easy to remember because that's the Green Goblin truck.
Oh yeah, that's right. But that's the reason I was trying. That's what was bugging me when I was reading this. I'm like, I've seen this before somewhere. I just couldn't put myself where I've seen it before. But no, I mean, it wasn't bad. It really wasn't a bad issue. It was just that it was kind of like you gave it no substance, if it makes sense.
So, moving on. This is probably the weakest title. It's Legion of X. This is coming out of Way of X.
Yeah.
This is written by Cy Spurrier with art by Jan Basaluda, coloring by Federico B. I'll just say it. I really didn't understand what was going on a lot in this.
You ain't the only one.
Like, it's Nightcrawler establishing a police force in Krakoa to make sure the laws of the land are upheld.
Mm-hmm.
Just because they want to give people fair trial and whatnot, because look at what some of the mutants that got tossed into the pit where Sabretooth is now reigning king over. Some of them, like, just were exhibiting their powers and did something on accident. So, like, Nightcrawler wants to ensure that everyone gets a fair trial.
Right.
Or to ensure the law is enforced, but justly. Legion is hooking up with his girlfriend, Sage, who just, like, only wants to deal with the astral plane because she doesn't want to have a normal body anymore.
Yeah.
I understand why. If you've read X-Men Disassembled before all this started, she did not die a nice death. Like, she died a very horrible death. And I do not blame her for wanting to say, like, I just want to exist here. I see it super odd that Nightcrawler would, as a show of power, have the Juggernaut as his right-hand man in this. And I don't even know why Juggernaut's on the island, because he's not a mutant.
It's my confusion.
Well, I mean, clearly Kane Marco's in that state of mind where he is not influenced by the gem. So usually when that's the case, he's usually a good guy, because he's been a part of the X-Men. He's been a part of Excalibur. He's been a part of the Thunderbolts. After he turned himself in for something and just was going through the proper motions to be released under serving his term. So K. Marco is no longer just bad guy, but it's just weird that Nightcrawler feels like he needs to have the Juggernaut as, like, this ace in the hole, as a show of strength.
It just...
This is one of the books where I'm okay with it being 5 issues long.
I'm not gonna lie, the issue was all over the place. It really was. I think that's the best way I can put that. The issue was really and truly all over the place, which is why I was like, I gave my best shot. I was like, it's kind of one of those books you try to sit down, give yourself a second, come back to it, and try to see if you can still follow it. I couldn't for this issue. I tried.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty rare an X book fails. I feel like Cy Spurrier is going to tell a good story, but it's just not something I want to follow, especially coming out of Way of X, where I thought we were in this, we would be digging deeper into, like, the onslaught seeds that are implanted in everybody in Krakoa.
Yeah.
and slowly preventing his resurrection or resurrection attempts through other mutants. But this is not what I expected.
Nah, I mean, they all gave me home runs.
So as bonus, we are going to look at the Inner Circle, the Quiet Cancels selection for a mixtape from X-Men 92, because I thought this was actually pretty fun.
Go ahead. I've read this, but go ahead.
Also, I love the fact that X-Men 92 has such a Fox Kids magazine feel to it on some things. Because this is exactly like an ad for Fox Kids magazine.
Oh, man.
So we got Professor Xavier's Everything I Do by Bryan Adams. Magneto's Nothing Else Matters by Metallica, which is weird.
That fits. I know. Nothing Else Matters fits Magneto to a T. That is perfect.
Apocalypse is Killing in the Name of Rage Against the Machine. That fits. In Vogue's My Lovin' You're Never Gonna Get It for Storm. That definitely fits.
Yeah.
The only one that is actually a fake song, which is Stronger Together, Hatred and Fear by Daz. Well, maybe if I look under Cher. But Dazzler featuring Cher and Layla Cheney.
I want to say that is a song.
It's probably a song by Cher, but when I saw by Dazzler and Layla Cheney, I just immediately heard, I was like, well, they got to get one fake song. Cyclops being the most precious child he can be with Achy Breaky Heart. It's like, oh, buddy.
That's still funny.
Emma Frost, Justify My Love by Madonna. For those of you that are unaware, this was the Madonna music video that actually did get banned outright across multiple platforms. Even MTV wouldn't play it.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason. There's a big reason. I had to look
it up. I was unfamiliar with the songs. Like, oh, that's why this got banned. Okay.
Yep. If you want to know, kids, Google it. We're not going to say it.
So honestly, I would have thought Emma would have done Diamonds Are a Girl's Best Friend or something.
You know, I feel like that was a myth. I feel like that was there.
But I think it being Emma, this also.
Diamonds Are Forever. Dang it, who sung the James Bond soundtrack? God dang it.
Well, remember, it's got to be in the 90s.
Oh, you can do Diamonds Are Forever.
Okay.
You can do Diamonds Are Forever for the 90s because that's still a Bond movie. Even though Diamonds Are Forever came out in the 70s, they did have a remake in Goldeneye for that song. So, yeah, it still can fit.
Archangel is How Do You Talk to an Angel by The Heights. Sure. Callisto is Pretty on the Inside by The Hole.
Dang.
Sure. Omega Red, Drain You by Nirvana.
Fits.
Mystique's Cold Hearted by Paula Abdul.
There was other ones I could have went with.
Mr. Sinister's original choice was Creep by Radiohead.
Who erased that?
Huh?
That made me mad when I saw that. I was like, wait a second. Who got rid of that?
Probably 8. So here's how I look at this one. Because the next one is I'm Too Sexy by Right Said Fred. I'm going to say one of the Sinisters chose Creep by Radiohead. And then the rightful Sinister's like, no, we can't have that.
Because I'm like thinking about that. I was like, Creep would be perfect. And I'm like, well, I'm Too Sexy would be the other side of the spectrum. But I'm like, Creep by Radiohead for Mr. Sinister? Okay, could be just me.
And then finally, Lechunk.
That pig is gonna be just that's gonna be funny. But no, this still that's still funny. I was like, just Radiohead. Could you imagine a Mr. Sinister singing Creep by Radiohead? I can see Magneto singing Nothing Else Matters. I can see that.
See, I can also see Emma Frost doing TLC's No Scrubs.
Yeah, I can see that too. Or she could be doing there's a single I'm making me doing, but still, that's still funny. But thank you, Joe, for the comic book pools and the news. As we always say, guys, Support your local comic book stores, especially for ours. Ours is Rick's Comic City, that can be found in 3 locations, especially if you're in the Middle Tennessee area. They have 3 locations: Fort Campbell, Clarksville, and Hermitage. So definitely check them out. Support your local comic book stores where you can. Also, if you're not able to get to a comic book store, please, oh please, go to your local library. There's still library cards are still $1. They still carry the most up-to-date comics and manga and video and anime out there. So you definitely can still get your fix. So definitely support your libraries, support your local comic book stores. Because like I said, they're fun places to take. There's fun places to go to. And trust me, I took 3 boys to Free Comic Book Day over at Rick's Comic Book City, and they loved it. And some of them are still wanting to go back. And I need to wait till my wallet gets better. So
you're not going to Nashville Comic Con tomorrow?
I'll be there Sunday. I will probably be there Sunday because Saturday is kind of a packed day for me tomorrow. So it'll probably be Sunday when we go. But yeah, but also yeah. Let's also point that out too, Joe. And do you want to announce that, or you want me to announce it as far as National Comic Con? Yeah. So again, if you're in the Middle Tennessee area, Nashville Comic Con is going to be happening at the National State Fairgrounds. I know it's kind of weird to associate anything with the fairgrounds anymore, but yes, there is a Nashville Comic Con that's going to be happening there on Saturday and Sunday. Definitely look it up for as far as hours. I believe tickets are still $20 for adults. I think kids up to about, and don't quote me on this, I think kids up to about 10 years old still get in free. So 10 years old and under, you can definitely bring them in. Joe and some other friends of ours, Mutant Glue, Shadow King, Nashville Legion. I gotta trust my words when I get tongue tied. Nashville Legion of cosplayers will definitely be there in full force. Joe, any idea what you're gonna be doing tomorrow? Or
I'll be with the Nashville Legion on Saturday and Cosplay Collective because I'm part of both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, I'll either be running around in Star Trek or in Ghostbuster, or possibly both because it's lower decks and the holodeck malfunction from time to time.
Nice.
But the Tennessee Ghostbusters are also there.
Mm-hmm.
We were over at Movie in the Park last night because it was Ghostbusters Afterlife. We are trying to get things together for the middle of June because Black Widow is being shown over at Movie in the Park.
Nice. Okay, and all for those that don't know, Movie in the Park's still over at Centennial Park, right?
Edmonton Park, in front of the high school.
Okay, so Edmonton Park. Because I remember during the summer they used to have it at Centennial Park, especially when it was nice and cool nights, and especially you had the food trucks off the side. Oh, I miss those tacos. But anyway, definitely check that out, guys. Like I said before, if you're in the Middle Tennessee area, especially Nashville, Tennessee, definitely check out Nashville Comic Con this weekend. Hopefully you'll see Joe or you'll see others there. I will plan to be there on Sunday because again, way my life is, I'm bouncing from one ball to another. But hey, everything's all right. But Joe, any news or anything else you want to let people know about and things you're doing on your stream, sir?
I'll be picking back up later shortly. I just want to take a quick break. Not quite sure what I want to stream on Twitch, considering I beat Elden Ring. I had to take it once again, work smarter, not harder, and glitch the game out to where it worked into my favor. So I found a glitch that lets you absorb holy damage, which is what the final game boss only uses, is holy damage attack. So every time he hit me, I healed.
I think I'm honestly going to give it a solid. I think I'm going to give it a college try and actually try to finish Elden Ring. Everybody else is saying I need to finish it, but I was like, I really need to give it a college try.
You need to at least get to the boss that super power bombs you.
You know what? I need to, because I want to see what the big fuss is about. Aside from people just, not see the fact when he backsteps, he's going to basically bull rush you. But I'm like, every time I watch it, I'm like, every time he backsteps, he's about to bull rush you. He's going for the grab and literally just spirit bombing you to heaven at this point.
I mean, maybe I'll start streaming either Persona 5 Royal, considering I've never played that game, or I'll just reload and boot up Yakuza 7 and redo Yakuza 7, but in English. Do different job classes.
Nothing wrong with that, especially with Yakuza Like a Dragon is still my favorite. But no, cool. But like I said, with Joe, you can definitely find his you can definitely find his Twitch channel as my verbal abilities are going out the window. You can definitely find his Twitch stream channel at Joe Italian last name, of course. Of course, his YouTube Total Justice Game. You can definitely find him there. Nashville Green Lantern and Scarlet Spider on Instagram. You can definitely find him there as well. As far as that, now some other people, we do have to let them shout them out as well. Shout out to Ari and Gee Present Geek Salad for allowing us to share our podcast on their page. Definitely check them out on Facebook as well as YouTube under the name Geek Salad. Also, shout out to another friend of mine who also supports us, Vaughn. Vaughn Westwood on Facebook, Big VJ Don on socials. You can definitely find him there, as he is definitely posting some new content on either Facebook or his socials, as you can see there. Of course, for yours truly, guys, I am still at BlackFox447 on Instagram, where you can follow me there, as I do post reviews of movies, video games, television shows, and gym stuff, because I do a couple push-ups. Definitely did get my review of Top Gun Maverick. It was definitely great. I loved it. I did not think that it would be as good as it is. So if you were wondering about Top Gun Maverick, you should definitely see it. It is a love letter to the original, and very well done how they included Val Kilmer. So I'm not gonna lie, I kind of shed a tear on that note. But aside from that, guys, like I said before, the whole thing as we're wrapping this up, guys, we are in times where things are rough. So be kind to each other. Don't be a dick. It takes zero energy to be nice. It takes everything in you to be a dick. And you don't know what people are going through, what battles are going through, or things of that nature. So just being kind, saying hello, or just checking on them, you may do more than just be polite. You actually might be saving a life. At the same time, guys, the coronavirus is still out there. I know we haven't said coronavirus in a very long time. News stations aren't saying it. People are wearing less masks. Dogs and cats living together in freaking harmony. The thing is, we still need to be prevalent. Because one person in this room who can tell you off the bat that it's still around and that it still needs to be dealt with. But again, protect yourselves. Wear a mask, especially if you're in busy areas or high traffic areas. But if you take care of yourself, you can actually help people along the way, especially those in healthcare, because Lord knows they need a break and a raise thrice over, actually. But with that being said, guys, that's really all that we have for this. Like I said, we're looking forward to a lot, especially from State of Play, from Street Fighter, from various sources. Again, we're not too far off from Thor: Love and Thunder, which will actually be in July, and of course the entire MCU from there. So, Joe, any last words, sir, before we call it a night?
This MJF angle is weird and good.
Oh, that MJF angle is beautiful. Whether it's a work or a shoot, it is freaking beautiful. But we know he ain't going to WWE. We know that for the fact. But the fact that he sat there and called Tony Khan a effing mark, still beautiful. But with that being said, guys, I've been Will. That's been Joe. This has been the GetBit Podcast. We will catch you again, guys, next Friday. Same GetBit time, same GetBit channel. Thank you for sharing, for liking, for commenting, and letting people know about it. We certainly appreciate it. We are out for the night, guys. Take care of yourselves and each other, and we will all get through this. Peace.